She sat quietly in the corner booth of the diner, her hands wrapped around a chipped coffee mug. The chatter of college students filled the air, laughter bouncing off the tiled walls. To them, she was just another quiet woman in a worn hoodie, someone who looked out of place among their bright clothes and louder confidence. But that illusion shattered when one of them, a tall boy with a smirk, tipped a strawberry milkshake over her head. The glass hit the floor. The room went silent. Pink liquid dripped from her hair and onto her lap. "Oops," he sneered, laughter bubbling from his friends. "Guess someone's having a bad day." Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from. I love knowing who's listening. The woman's name was Avery Holt, and once upon a time, she had worn a uniform the world both respected and feared, that of a Navy SEAL. But the years had changed her. After a mission gone wrong and a decision that still haunted her dreams, she had left the service quietly. The small-town diner was her peace. Or at least it used to be. She looked up at the boy, her blue eyes calm but piercing, like the ocean before a storm. "You should clean that up," she said softly. Her voice didn't rise, but something in it carried weight, a quiet authority that made even the cook freeze mid-motion. The boy laughed again, trying to shake off the sudden chill that crept up his spine. "Or what?" he taunted. Avery didn't answer. She simply stood, brushing milkshake from her sleeves. Every movement was slow, deliberate, almost elegant. The crowd watched, whispering. There was something in the way she moved, measured, precise, like someone who had seen chaos and learned to master it. Outside, the sky darkened. The group of students followed her out, phones in hand, ready to record what they thought would be a viral moment. "Hey, lady," one of them called. "You forgot your pride in there," they laughed. She turned slowly, eyes fixed on the ringleader, the boy with the milkshake. "Do you think humiliating people makes you strong?" she asked. He smirked. "It's just a joke." "Don't be so sensitive." Her expression didn't change. "That's the thing about people who've never faced real fear," she said. "I think it's funny, until it's looking back at them." The air felt heavier now. A wind stirred the dust in the parking lot. A few of his friends shifted uneasily. Avery took a step closer. Not threatening, not angry, just steady. The boy raised his chin, but the camera in his friend's hand trembled. Then it happened. The boy reached to shove her shoulder, and in the blink of an eye she caught his wrist. Not roughly, not violently, but with precision. His knees buckled as she twisted just enough to redirect his force, sending him off balance. He landed on the pavement, gasping. She stepped back immediately, eyes level, voice calm. "You have no idea how fast things can change," she said quietly. The murmurs started, confusion, surprise, a few gasps. One of his friends ran forward, fists raised, but Avery sidestepped effortlessly. No punches, no aggression, just movement, fluid, practiced, controlled. Then seconds, he was on the ground too, staring up at her with wide eyes. "Stop!" a girl from their group shouted. "You're hurting them." Avery turned toward her. "No," she said gently. "I'm reminding them that power doesn't come from humiliation. It comes from control." The crowd that had gathered outside began whispering louder now, some recording, others just watching in awe. But Avery didn't stay for applause. She simply turned back toward the diner, picked up her bag, and left. The air felt different, charged, like the aftermath of a thunderstorm. Inside, the waitress who had seen everything followed her with teary eyes. "Ma'am," she said softly, "you didn't have to do that. They're just kids." Avery paused, her hand on the door. "So was I once," she whispered, "until someone taught me what it meant to stand up." That night, the videos went viral, but not for the reason the students had hoped. The comments were flooded with veterans, recognizing her stance, her calm, her discipline. "That's Navy SEAL posture," one said. "She's not just some woman, she's trained." The next morning, the same group of students returned to the diner. The boy, now humbled, found Avery sitting in her usual corner. He hesitated before walking over. "I wanted to say, I'm sorry," he murmured. "What I did wasn't funny." Avery looked up, her face softening. "You learned something then," she said. He nodded. "That strength doesn't look like what I thought it did." She smiled faintly. "Good. Then maybe next time you'll use yours to lift someone up instead of tearing them down." As he left, Avery glanced out the window, the morning light spilling across the cracked asphalt, glinting off the same spot where the milkshake had fallen. In that moment, she realized something profound. Sometimes it isn't medals or missions that define courage. It's choosing restraint when the world expects rage. Because true strength doesn't shout, it doesn't humiliate. It stands steady, calm, certain, and unshakable. Because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. And somewhere between the spilled milkshake and the silence that followed, Avery Holt found a little piece of peace again. If you were moved by Avery's story, hit subscribe, not just for more stories like this, but to remind the world that quiet strength still matters. And tell me in the comments, what would you have done in her place?